Hey guys, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. My hair is not quite as crazy today because we have very low humidity. I have a little bit of new information in the Debbie Collier case that I wanted to share with you so you could think it over ahead of tomorrow's briefing from the police. Just things to consider. What do they mean? Do they mean anything at all? So yesterday when we were talking, I had told you that the law enforcement investigators had received a tip about Amanda Bearden being at the Family Dollar store the day that her mom disappeared. And when they went there and they interviewed the clerk and they went through the surveillance footage, they found that it was actually Debbie, not Amanda. Well, what would you think if I told you the tip came from Amanda herself? Yeah, Amanda told law enforcement that she was the one that was at the store. I don't know why she would say that. And law enforcement have indicated that they haven't seen her on surveillance. So I'm going to play the news report for you where they talk about this, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it a little bit more about why she might have placed herself there when it's so easily disproven. So let's take a look at that.
Investigators are calling this case complex, and certainly they have a lot more to do, but this new revelation video is clearing some things up. This is Debbie Collier walking into a Family Dollar in Clayton, Georgia on Saturday, September 10th. It's just before 3 p.m., only hours before Collier's husband reported her missing. In this security camera video, you can see her picking up several things, including a rain poncho, a tarp, paper towels, and a torch lighter. The Habersham County Sheriff's Department says this clue is crucial. A spokesman tells Fox 5 News all of those items were found here at the crime scene the next day, next to Collier's nude body with burn marks on it. They didn't know how they got there. Now they do. Also, they now know Collier was still alive at 3 that afternoon. But here's the added twist. In a statement, investigators say over the weekend, Collier's daughter, Amanda Bearden, told them she was at the Clayton Family Dollar that Saturday. A review of security video and interviews so far hasn't backed that claim up. And we have been trying to reach Ms. Bearden all day, but have been unsuccessful. We came here to the Sheriff's Department scheduled to get an interview, but they decided that they're going to hold off until later in the week to do on-camera interviews. And of course, we will be there and have those latest developments. But for now, we are live in Clarksville at the Habersham County Sheriff's Department. Kevin Stewart, Fox 5 News.
Wow, wonder if officials are any closer to solving this.
Okay, so very interesting, right? We thought about it last night. When we were on panel on No Thanks Investigates, we were talking about it, how it didn't make any sense. And at first I was thinking, well, maybe she was trying to draw their attention to the fact that her mom was there. I mean, eventually they would have been able to track her there by her debit card purchase, right? But the more I thought about it, it just doesn't make sense. And we were thinking maybe she was outside. You know, she said I was there, but maybe she didn't mean in the store and wasn't seen. But we kind of brushed that off because of all the surveillance cameras. But it really feels odd to me. I feel like the only reason that I can make sense of in my mind that she would say that is because she was afraid when they found the footage of her mom there by tracing the debit card purchase, they were going to see her there. So she wanted to get ahead of it, proactively tell law enforcement that she was, in fact, at the dollar store that day. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because it doesn't, I mean, she's lied to police before. We know that from her record. But in this case, when you're talking about the murder of her mother, it doesn't make sense for her to lie to police about something like that. So I kind of feel like she was there, maybe not inside, maybe she was outside, maybe she was in the parking lot, maybe not even in Debbie's vehicle, but maybe in her own vehicle or whatever. But I feel like she was afraid they were going to spot her and then question her about what she was doing there. So she just wanted to get ahead of it and say, oh, I was at that dollar store that day. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Why she would tell law enforcement she was there that day and they have no evidence to prove that she was. Because we've been kind of working on a theory of, you know, why was Debbie in that area, and the timing between leaving the store, sending the Venmo, and the amount of time it would take to drive to where she would eventually be found is not that long. And we're wondering, did someone follow her out of the parking lot, maybe at that store? So what if Amanda was there in her vehicle, some other vehicle? I mean, you would think Debbie would have recognized it, but if she stayed far enough behind her, maybe she just didn't notice. I don't know. But maybe she was there in the parking lot, and then when her mom left, she followed her out. I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around why she would tell a lie like that. There had to be a reason for it, and the only thing I can think of is she knew she was going to be caught, so she wanted to get ahead of it. So another thing that we've been talking about was the fact that Amanda and Andrew, if you remember early on, they said that they had just moved back to Athens from Maryland 2 days prior to Debbie's disappearance. And we were wondering about that, about Maryland. Why Maryland? And I started digging in, doing, you know, background checks on everybody and deep diving all the main players. And I found some addresses that were associated with Amanda in Maryland. So the first one is an apartment. And I'm like, okay, so she had an apartment in Maryland. Cool. And then you can look, you know, at the area around. Look, this could not be that great of an area. All the little red pins are SOs, registered SOs. That is a lot in a very tight area. So she's associated with that address. And then there's Steve. She's also associated with this address. These are the only two addresses that she's associated with in Maryland. Everything else is in Georgia. Most of it is in Athens, but there were a couple of other towns that she lived in as well. But it looks like mainly she's been in Athens, Georgia, other than these two Maryland addresses. So when I start looking into this address, I found this. The people that live there are her brother and sister-in-law. And we know that both Debbie and Amanda's little brother have always kind of come to the rescue for Amanda. They've gotten her through her troubles, her inability to hold a job, to help her get back on her feet, things like that. We can see it even if we just look. Okay, here's the Venmo. This is for Amanda. Obviously, the one on top is the one from the day her mom disappeared. Then we have one on September 5th, and it just has the heart emoji. On August 17th, we have one that's from Steve and Debbie. It says refill script. I don't know if that's a refill for Amanda or if Amanda was picking up a refill for her mom, whatever. August 11th, they sent Amanda money for gas. August 8th, they sent her money for a battery. August 2nd is the one that says to Amanda Bearden from Debbie Collier. And then the only other ones she has are from her brother. We got January 25th, he sent her money for supplies. January 21st, it says big sister. January 14th, love you. So these are the two that really seem to help her financially and otherwise. So when she was in Maryland, was she living in maybe she moved down there, to be near her brother, maybe try to get a fresh start. I don't know. Did he see where she was living, not want her living there, and say, hey, come live with me, and that's why she's associated with his address as well? Or was she living at the brother's house, and then Andrew shows up? The brother couldn't have been any more happy about this relationship than Steve and Debbie were, given the couple's past. And I'm sure the brother, he has kids. I'm sure he would not want Amanda and Andrew living there fighting and doing what they do, right? Not around his kids. Maybe he told them they had to move out. And then they went to this apartment. I don't know what order it happened in, but this appears to be the Maryland connection. But we're wondering why they suddenly came back to Athens, right? Well, Amanda's court case is still pending. Andrew had to go to court for his probation violations, had to serve his 6-day sentence and things like that. I'm assuming he had to have gotten permission to be living out of the state. I think when you're on probation, you have to stay in the state where you're on probation. But I would guess he could get permission. The only thing with that is in the court documents, it says that he is banned from being around Amanda. If they knew he was going to move in with Amanda, I don't think they would have given him that permission, but that's just more for me to dig into. But for whatever reason, they came back. If it had to do with, upcoming court dates or whatever, they came back, and then 2 days later, Debbie's gone. One can wonder, did they get into some sort of drug debt type situation in Maryland? Were they running scared? Did they run back home to Athens because they were in trouble in Maryland, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe because, Andrew came out and said they're scared and they're sleeping behind these barricaded doors, which gives you the feeling that he knows what happened, or he knows who did it. Who's he scared of? What's he scared of? Why does he think somebody's coming after them because of what happened to Debbie? It's like he knows, right? That's why he's scared. So I don't know all the details on that, but let me know if you can kind of put any kind of story theory together with that information. I really feel like there's some sort of drug connection, probably just given their history. And on the panel last night, the Dago brought something up and it clicked in my head. We were talking about the body cam footage where Andrew is telling law enforcement that Amanda has been stealing $500 or $600 a week out of his paycheck and spending it on drugs. Well, if she was taking that amount, let's just go with the high end. Well, okay, we'll just do both. You're talking $2,000 to $2,400 a month for drugs. How much was the Venmo for? $23.85. Could that have been to pay her drug debt? It's very close to that amount. It fits in that range. If she was taking that amount from him, and that was a year ago, if she still has that same habit, she's still using that amount, maybe she owed somebody. Maybe Debbie was going to pay them off to try to protect her daughter, and it didn't work. There's too many unknowns. The more we learn, the less we know. The more details that come out, the less it makes sense. It's another one of those cases that is just, it's going to be crazy right up until the end when we finally have an answer. And hopefully the briefing, whatever they're calling it, I'm just going to call it a presser. That's the easiest thing for me to call it. Hopefully the presser tomorrow morning will give us a few answers. I don't know what to expect from it, but I feel like they're going to give us some little nugget of something, and we will definitely get on here and discuss that. So that's really all I had. I wanted to bring you those little interesting tidbits that I found and let you think them over, come up with theories, come up with ideas, put on your speculation spectacles like me, and let's talk about it. Let's get some comments rolling in here, and I will try to do another video. There's a little bit I want to talk about with Kylie Rodney. There's not much going on in that case. I just don't want us to forget that it's still out there and it's still important. But I have a few things that we can talk about, so I may try to do that. We've been having a bit of a hectic day around here. My daughter keeps having these massive nosebleeds that, we're talking, it looks like a crime scene, and it's, like hours and hours that I'm at the point, if we have one more and we can't get it stopped, we're going to the hospital. So, been dealing with that today. That's why this is going to be a quick one, in case she breaks loose and starts having another gusher. So thank you all for stopping by for a few minutes for a quick video just to check in, and let me know what you think about what I brought to you today. Give this a thumbs up, the normal like, share, subscribe, do all the things, send your friends over. Gonna try to do a live. I don't know, maybe tomorrow if things are calm-ish, calm around here, which is not calm in anybody else's world, but calm for me. May try to do a live tomorrow. I will schedule it ahead of time so you know in advance when to come and join in the fun. But yeah, everybody have a great Thursday, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.